Welcome back to part 2 of It's a Raw Knockout. Coming up in this episode, we meet the celebrities taking part in the show and discover the reasons why Her Majesty the Queen and Charles and Diana quite wisely gave the event a wide berth. So, we're at a point where the royal family's at a real high. They couldn't be more popular. It's a Knockout is one of the biggest shows on British television.
It's a match made in heaven.
It's a match made in heaven, which is a different show. It's a match made in heaven.
Of course, yeah.
A different line from the Peter Gabriel song. So I didn't know this, that the Queen was shot at in 1981.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so in 1981, during Trooping the Colour, you'd think this would be a bigger thing. To the point where I'm now questioning what I'm saying.
It happened just before 11 as the Queen moved towards Horse Guards Parade for the start of Trooping the Colour. Six shots were fired. The Queen's horse, Burmese, was startled, but the Queen controlled him. A guardsman grappled with a man, helped by onlookers, as police rushed in from all directions to make an arrest.
6 shots were fired at the Queen. Blanks. A 17-year-old had planned an assassination but couldn't get a real gun.
But still went through with it.
He was charged under the Treason Act, got 5 years. Why don't we know this?
Why is that not a big story?
She was unhurt, obviously, because he'd fired blanks.
Yeah.
And she was praised for a calm demeanour and superb control of her horse. Britain.
But you know what? If you look at, but if you look at the Trump assassination attempt,
yeah,
it can be the making of a person.
It can be the making of a person.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, the making of Trump was being born into a
Franz Ferdinand as well. I wouldn't know who Archduke Franz Ferdinand was if
Absolutely.
it wasn't for the assassination.
I don't think the band would be called that.
Exactly. If he hadn't, I'm a small duke. If he hadn't been assassinated, then 90 years later, the Brit Awards would have looked very different indeed.
Absolutely, yeah. It goes to show that if you are going to be assassinated, it doesn't matter whether you live or die, just do it really well.
Do it really well. Ronald Reagan, at the same time, is a victim of an assassination attempt. He survives. There's an incredible thing. If you want to read a book that's full of like some of the best kind of mad trivia ever, Dan Schreiber's book about, I can't remember what it's called, but it's his book for grown-ups.
Yeah.
And there's this thing about the Ronald Reagan assassination attempt. The guy who basically rushes him to a hospital and makes the decision to go to a different, nearer hospital or something that saves his life has got into what he's doing because he'd watched a film with Ronald Reagan in it in the 50s, and if this guy hadn't watched that film, he wouldn't have become a bodyguard or whatever it was that he became. And he's the man that then goes on to save Ronald Reagan's life.
So he got into being a bodyguard because he saw a film
exactly what it was.
Because he saw a film about Ronald Reagan that featured a bodyguard and he went, oh, that's a job I could do, rather than because he got into Ronald Reagan and thought, well, I want to protect this man.
Yeah, it was a Ronald Reagan's film, made him do his job, and then in his job he saved Ronald Reagan's life.
That is wild.
Isn't that mad?
I'll get that book.
Yeah, it's a brilliant book, and the story isn't what I've just said, but that's essentially...
There's a reason why Dan Schreiber wrote the book and not you.
Exactly.
You're like, it's not quite this, but it's something like this.
I should write a book called It's Something Like This, full of stories that are half-remembered, amazing things that happen.
I think... Right, was it Jennifer Aniston got pulled up on stage for the Bruce Springsteen? I can't. It's one of them. Anyway, that's a good story.
Yeah,
get someone who knows that story to tell that to you. That's how every paragraph ends.
On the subject of Ronald Reagan and the Queen, do you know the first that he did? He was the first president to have a sleepover at Windsor Castle.
He had a sleepover.
He had a little bloody sleepover.
He showed up with his overnight bag.
Yeah, they brushed each other's hair, talked about boys. It was wonderful.
Do you think what happened was that he just got overtired and his parents were downstairs drinking wine? And they were like, let's just make it a sleepover.
They had a midnight feast. No, they didn't.
They called up other world leaders and were like, hi, do you like Ronald? Because he likes you.
They got on very well. They bonded over their mutual love of horses, because obviously he had a ranch. And then in 1982, the Queen... I know this sounds like... But everything she's touching is turning to gold at this point.
She also does live in a big gold palace as well. Are you sure it's not just that it was gold first?
Everything she touches is gold. That's what I meant.
This palace still wasn't gold. Yeah, it was.
But she's a victim of a break-in into a room. Michael Fagan.
Yeah, of course. I remember Michael Fagan, yeah.
This is just surreal. He's a guy, he's going through quite a bad period in his life.
I don't think you break into Buckingham Palace when you're on top of the world, do you? If things are working out for you, you don't think, okay, well, I've got a wonderful family, kids are great, love my job. Oh, maybe I'll break into Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's a bad sign.
Sure. It was
But in a way, it's a sign that I don't think I could do it. Like,
no.
He's got a skill set.
Sure. A particular set of skills.
There's a particular set of skills I can break into. He doesn't do it once, he does it twice. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
So initially, he breaks into the palace, and just walks around. He climbed up a drain pipe, basically, into a maid's room. The maid ran for help, and then he's just gone for a walk.
Just wanders around.
They can't find him, and the maid's like, I've gone mad. That couldn't have happened. And then, basically, in the intervening month, he gets done for stealing a car. This is a sign that your life's not going well. He's stolen a car to drive to Stonehenge to find his wife.
Okay.
Always a bad sign.
Yeah.
So he gets 3 weeks.
A series of red flags from our friend Michael here.
3 weeks in Nick for that. Comes out. Next day, breaks into the palace again.
It just doesn't reform criminals, does it, the prison?
No.
It's not rehabilitation. Surely they've got to say to you, look, you've got it. No more driving to Stonehenge to find your missus. No more breaking into the palace, right?
No more breaking into the palace.
You can't resist it.
So what he does is he breaks in, not looking to find the Queen.
Looking to find his wife. I'm going to try all the major British landmarks.
But he said he went past like doors that would have like the names on, like Charles and Diana.
Like backstage.
Yeah. Big star on Diana because she's the big star. Charles livid that she's got the bigger dressing room.
That happens 2 situations. One is if you're backstage in a studio and they've got to know where everyone is staying, or if you are 9. That you've got your name. Did Charles just say no girls allowed except for Camilla?
He said, I was scared than I'd ever been in my life, right? And then he walked into the Queen's bedroom.
Saw the sign on the door saying the Queen.
Saw the sign on the door saying Lizzie's room. This is a classic sign of the opulence. He has to pull back the curtains on her bed.
She would end every day by saying, I now declare this bed closed, wouldn't she? Pull a string and the curtains would...
I'm going to say it. Curtains on her bed is so impractical. Because if she wants a drink of water at night, if she wants to check her phone, and it's good for your phone usage, I suppose.
It's very good for your phone usage. The blue light, you're not getting the blue light.
Inhaler. She can't have a bedside table. Also, a man can walk into your bedroom and until he pulls back the curtains, you don't know he's there.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, would you be able to have like a little sort of... How far
she could
away
have a
is the
sewn-in pocket, but
exactly like a tent,
like in a tent, and then a water with a screw cap. She could have a sports cap water bottle.
I think if you're the Queen, though, all you need is a little bell. You know, you pull the little lever, the little bell rings, and she just needs her inhaler, and the inhaler comes through.
It's 3 a.m. You're feeling a bit parched. You have to ring a bell to get someone to come in.
You're right.
It's going to wake you up, if anything.
I was going to say, she's probably getting up. She's probably my age now. Is that right?
No, she wasn't your age now.
Well, how old is she?
She was about 100 when she died. She was born in the 20s, wasn't she?
Okay, so in the 80s, she's in her 60s. She's getting up in the night to go to the loo.
You're your age now. I mean...
Well, I thought she was like 50-ish, you know, but yeah.
No, but yeah, she was probably getting up to go to the loo.
She's getting up to go to the loo,
pushing her way through the curtains.
Fighting your way through thinking, I mean, I'm not changing this bed. I might as well wet myself. I've got men to do that.
There was reports that she then had a conversation with him.
That's right. He sat on the foot of her bed and then they showed up and she said, get a bloody move on.
Yeah, but that's not true according to him. He said she went past me and ran out of the room, her little bare feet running across the floor.
You can't imagine seeing the Queen barefooted, can you?
No.
Not one of those sights you ever imagine to see.
Although, you know that website that Lily Allen's got her feet on?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Did she do an OnlyFans?
Yeah, but she did it because her feet had such good reviews on that foot website.
WikiFeet. You're on that,
I'm
aren't
on
you?
WikiFeet.
Yeah.
So the Queen, I don't know whether she's on WikiFeet.
I would be really surprised if the Queen was on WikiFeet.
Yeah.
Feels disrespectful nowadays.
Just Michael Fagan. He's the only person who's ever been able to vote. So he was also in bare feet.
Was he? I guess to shimmy up the drain pipe.
He said 2 years later, he had his sandals returned because they were on the roof of Buckingham Palace.
Could you say, look, I was playing football in my sandals, I did a really energetic kick, my sandal flew off my foot, landed on Buckingham Palace roof, knocked Brian May out, I just shimmied up the drain pipe to get it, I didn't realise. Exactly. Is it a crime getting your ball back?
He had to put his sandals on like O.J. Simpson with the glove when they were proving it was him. So he's basically has to sit with a footman while he's waiting to be arrested.
Okay.
And then a footman, just to be clear, isn't a man who's in defeat. The footman's not like, did you see her feet? Bloody hell.
This is the best job in the world. Get to see the Queen barefoot every day.
There's breast men, there's bum men, I'm a bloody footman, mate, and I can't get enough of them. But he did speak like that. The guy said, the footman came and said, "Core, fucking hell, mate, you look like you need a drink." And the guy gave him a glass of whiskey.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
You get good treatment, even if you're breaking into the palace. You get a great service, 5 stars.
Famous grouse, that's what the whiskey was, according to Michael Fagan.
Lovely.
So he said he's got no regrets. It brought me adversity, but I can laugh about it, and that's the main thing. I wouldn't do it again. I think security's tightened up now.
I think
it's incredible that he did it. And because no one was hurt, I think you can say, this is another great...
Yeah.
Along with the tide coming in, that's the kind of things I want to hear about.
It's a fun little whimsical anecdote, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know, nobody got harmed.
No.
The only other person I can think of who broke into the palace was Aaron Barshak, the comedy terrorist. It was a garden party, wasn't it? He broke into a garden party, yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
Because you've got to break out again as well. You can't get it. Do you know what I mean?
Like, swing out sister taught us that, didn't they?
Yeah, well, and as Prince Harry will tell you, it's very difficult to get out once you're in.
once you're in. It's a gilded cage.
It's a gilded cage. This is how popular the royals were. Prince Andrew was one of the most sought-after men in the country at this point. Well, he was also. He was one of the most sought-after men in the country for the last few years as well. But in a different way.
Yeah.
Not by police, but by eligible ladies.
Sure.
He was the national heartthrob. And the reason was he joined the Royal Navy in 1979 and he fought in the Falklands.
Well, we know all about that as well, don't we? He was shot at.
Yeah, he was shot at. An Argentinian missile was fired at HMS Invincible, which he was on. They sent up a helicopter to divert the missile. Good news, it didn't hit HMS Invincible.
It would have been fine if it did. It's HMS Invincible.
Well, I mean, this is written as good news when I was reading it. But the good news is it didn't hit HMS Invincible that Andrew was on. It just hit another ship.
So a load of real people died.
But not one that Andrew was on.
Not one that you would remember anyway. No.
I don't know whether anyone died in that. But he came back from the Falklands a hero. I didn't know this. This is a lovely image. That the Queen gave him a rose when he got back and he put it in his mouth.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Very bachelorette.
This is the point that he's at. He goes to Canada and a group of women are chanting, "We want Andy. We want Andy." He turns on the Regent Street Christmas lights in 1982 like the Spice Girls would have.
Wow.
He was known as Randy Andy, and he was later as well.
Of course, yeah.
And the Playboy Prince. He's like the most eligible bachelor in the UK, and people love him. And Charles is quite annoyed.
Because Charles just doesn't have that riz.
Well, he also didn't fight in the Falklands because he couldn't, because he's the next king.
Yeah.
And so in 1986, the year before It's a Royal Knockout, he marries Sarah Ferguson, Fergie.
Bridesmaids and pages go into place. And here the man who will marry them, the Archbishop of Canterbury, at the invitation of Queen and Dean to marry the couple today.
With this ring, I thee wed.
I thee wed.
With my body, I thee worship.
I thee worship.
I remember the announcement because I was at primary school at the time and another teacher came in to tell our teacher, and the rest of the day we watched the telly and it was rubbish because whatever it would be, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, cares
Exactly.
about the royal family getting
you were
married.
one of 500 million watching it. It was still, but it isn't the 750 million of Charles and Diana, but it's still big.
Yeah.
But they're not as big as Charles and Diana, hence they become a part of It's a Royal Knockout. But the person we're ignoring here is, of course, Prince Edward.
Yes.
The forgotten sibling.
Is he much younger?
He's the youngest. He's the youngest child. He was born in 1964. His birth was the only one witnessed by the Duke of Edinburgh.
Really? What was the Duke of Edinburgh doing?
Fourth time he went, do you know what?
Oh, no,
I'd like to see one of these.
What's this all about?
Fourth time, like, fine, I'll show my face for this.
I thought you were going to say it was the only one the Queen didn't bother showing up to.
It was witnessed by Michael Fagan as well. Pulled back the curtain during the cesarean, which was a real mistake.
You don't want to do that.
I don't know whether he was born by cesarean. I imagine he wasn't. Let's not speculate.
You can Google that yourselves.
You can. So he is very different from his army brother, and even Prince Charles, Prince Charles is a bit kind of sensitive, but Prince Edward he wants to be an actor. He takes part in school plays. At the age of 10, he's Mole in the school's production of Toad Hall. He says later that he can still remember his lines: scrape and scratch, Scrabble and Scrooge.
Those aren't the other characters. You do know that, don't you? It's Ratty and Badger and Tony. So I think you may have got your lines wrong there. Scrooge is from A Christmas Carol.
He shows interest in the media from the off. He listens to the radio avidly, which I imagine when you're, a royal isn't a thing that happens very often. He carried an old-fashioned Roberts radio around with him. I'm imagining like a kind of ghetto blaster in New York in the 80s.
I'm picturing it's just one of those small ones that you literally just holding it to his ear. He's got a massive antenna
he's
off
listening
of it,
to
and
Steve Wright
He's
or whatever.
tuning into Radio Caroline or something like that and just trying to...
He's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
In the Royal Family documentary in 1969, which was the previous biggest misstep media-wise before It's a Royal Knockout, Prince Edward's 5, and he's commented on that he likes the cameras.
Right. He can turn it on.
Yeah, he
sees
turn
that
it
red
on.
light go on and tits and teeth.
And the other thing that is a formative experience for him is when he's 13, he gets to watch It's a Knockout because it's filmed in the Windsor Great Park, and he thinks, this is good.
One day.
This is classic Royals. He gets a C in English and 2 Ds in history and politics at A-level.
And he goes to
Cambridge. Absolutely fucking unbelievable. A C and 2 Ds, and he's off to Cambridge. Unbelievable. Despite that, he goes to Cambridge where he gets a 2-2 from Jesus College, Cambridge.
So basically what's happened there is he's got a low third and they've gone, we'll give him a 2-2. We'll give him a 2-2. Give him the gentleman's degree.
But he's into acting in Cambridge.
Okay.
So this is what he wants to
He could have
pursue.
joined Footlights.
He could have
done the Smokers at Footlights.
He's not in Footlights. He says life is one big act, though. That's one of his quotes in an interviewer after the first night of one of his plays at university. There was an assumption that that's what he was going to do, but he went to Cambridge. The Royal Marines sponsored him to go to Cambridge. I don't know what that means.
That happened at my school.
I don't know at that time if university fees were means tested, but presumably the Queen wouldn't have qualified for free fees.
I think they sponsor you to go to university on the proviso that then you'll give a certain amount, or you'll go into the army after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he does that. He goes into the Marines.
The Marines as well. That's the hardest one.
Well, he's a victim of a hazing incident in the Marines.
Of course.
They put mud in his ears, mud in his mouth, and mud up his nose.
That we know of.
Yeah. They're 3 of the holes.
The sanitised version that you're given. His nostrils were packed full of mud.
So he
that's the official
graduates
line.
in 1986. So he'd have graduated in summer 86. January 87, he leaves the Marines.
I think I made my point here, guys.
Thanks for the money.
Thanks for the money. No, thanks for the mud.
Still shitting out that mud. He's done 1/3 of his 12 months training. After leaving for the last time, he goes to Buckingham Palace and he gets drunk for the only time in his life.
Really?
Or roaring drunk, to use the royal terminology. Prince Philip, what do you reckon he thinks? Bear in mind, he is the Captain General of the Royal Marines.
Prince Philip must have given him an absolute bollocking. I would hate to get a bollocking from Prince Philip. I bet he got...
He's displeased.
Displeased is...
Displeased is the bare minimum, really, there,
Yeah,
isn't it?
displeased is a polite term.
Yeah.
Displeased is mud up the nostril.
Yeah.
It's hiding a multitude of sins.
Buckingham Palace say that Edward gave it much consideration before leaving, but with great regret has concluded that he does not wish to make the service his long-term career. He's too sensitive for this.
I think that's totally fine.
I would hate it.
Yeah, I'd hate it. Some people are cut out for it, and those people are not Prince Edward.
And he decides to pursue a career in entertainment.
It's dressing up, it's makeup, it's
plays-
travelling. It's all
Exactly.
the same stuff, really. Two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. He does Shakespeare's A Winter's Tale. He does, basically, it's Amdram in Scotland, he does. And he's the narrator of the London Symphony Orchestra's Peter and the Wolf Before Christmas. But his own acting is not of a level.
Okay.
It's described as he liked to shout his lines and run around a lot on stage.
Could have done sketch comedy. That's basically... that was basically what I did in Edinburgh for 10 years.
But they decide it's too much of a publicity risk to continue. I wonder if he'd been brilliant. Could he have been in EastEnders?
Could you ever get over the fact that you're watching... You know, all you can really do when you're that level
Could he
of
have
famous...
been a Hugh Grant? If Hugh Grant had been a royal, could he have had his career? Because he's not a royal that...
He's not
Princess Anne,
Yeah.
she did compete in the international show jumping and equestrian.
The difference there, though, is that there's no suspension of disbelief required to watch someone riding a horse.
If anything, I can believe she rides a horse. I can totally believe it.
Absolutely. Without even seeing the horse, you can go, yes, you seem like the sort of person who would be very much a horse rider.
Yeah.
Whereas
He could have done a series of, the Hallmark movies about princes, rom-coms.
he'd have to be playing a prince.
Yeah.
But then I imagine he wouldn't want to be playing princes. He'd want to be sort of flexing his acting muscles. He'd want to try and, go outside of the realm.
He auditioned for the role of Mark Fowler in EastEnders. So he basically commissions the musical Cricket from Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice for his mum's 60th birthday celebration.
Lovely.
And that
What a
leads, he
gift.
gets a job with Lloyd Webber's company, the really useful theatre company. And he works as a production assistant on musicals, The Phantom of the Opera, Starlight Express and Cats.
So some big hits.
Some big hits.
He's got some big hits not to his name necessarily, but he's been associated.
It's described by the company director as the very lowest rung.
Yeah, but you've got to start somewhere.
And they say it's varied but often menial. So he's essentially what TV would term a runner.
He's become a runner.
He's making tea, he's fetching the food, he's overseeing taxis afterwards, stuff like that.
I don't think that being a royal is a good preparation for serving other people.
No.
This is the problem. In the army, right, he could have gone straight into a high rank because he's already a high-ranking person.
Yeah.
Whereas he's gone into an industry which requires you to work your way up.
Well,
He should have become an exec straight away.
he does basically.
Yeah.
Because in a year's time, one of the things is he sees this is a big time for charity events.
Right.
So around this time, mid-80s, obviously you've got Live Aid, you've got the launch of Comic Relief.
Yeah.
So it's like, celebrities, you can put on these big events that kind of where celebrities raise money. And obviously one thing he's got is a lot of celebrities.
He's got a good little black book.
Exactly. So we've got to do a Live Aid series for this because there's so much to talk about with Live Aid. But imagine Prince Edward's watching Live Aid because there are some great little facts about Live Aid. Obviously, Live Aid starts as Band Aid, which is a Do They Know It's Christmas single to raise money for the Ethiopian famine. And then it's held in Wembley Stadium, Philadelphia. It's called the Global Jukebox. It's a one-off concert, kind of first of its kind in a way. Well, not the first of its kind, but on such a global scale. Estimated audience of 1.9 billion people. It knocks Charles and Diana into a cocked hat.
Yeah, you just can't. That's the sort of numbers where you can't even fathom.
150 nations watched it. Nearly 40% of the world's population watched Live Aid.
That's wild.
That is mad,
absolutely
isn't it?
wild.
What that's going to do for your record sales?
I mean, also, what are you doing if you're not watching it? That feels deliberate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, it feels like you've really made a choice.
Yeah, we've all done that. You do it every World Cup.
Yeah, I don't watch the World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I'll do that with
feels-
a royal wedding generally. I'll go, I don't want to watch this. But at what point am I making, really?
Yeah. You may as well have have it on in the background.
And it was attended by Charles and Diana.
I remember, yeah.
So Bob Geldof, who organised it, and we will have to tell this story in full, but him swearing on television was watched by more people than Neil Armstrong walking on the moon.
Is that true?
Great fact.
That's a
Great
fantastic fact. Thank you, Dan Schreiber.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
So that you could give something, and it's not happening enough. You know, you've got to get on the phone and take the money out of your pocket. Don't go to the pub tonight, please. Stay in and give us the money. There are people dying now, so give me the money. And here's the numbers.
Let's go through the way. We're probably going to get the address first, aren't we?
No, let's fuck the address. Let's get the numbers, because that's how we're going to get it.
Noel Edmonds, who we have discussed before on this in the Mr. Blobby episodes, he piloted people to and from Wembley in his helicopter.
In the Edmonds copter.
In the Edmonds copter.
And, of course, Phil Collins.
Well, can I just...
Yes.
We will come to Phil Collins.
We'll get to Phil Collins in a second,
But,
sorry.
Elton John, and this is a bit of a mean fact, but what was Noel told to do before Elton John got out of the helicopter? He had to stop the rotor blades for fear
Because
of
it's
his
that
wig
wig going off.
his
Yeah, of
wig
course.
coming
I was
off.
going to say, yeah. Make sure his baseball cap is really shoved down on his head.
Yeah. And then Noel flew Phil Collins, and then Phil Collins concorded his way to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah.
He played both. Edmonds was landing in a nearby cricket field, which didn't go down well with the wedding reception that was happening there that night.
I was thinking that there must have been people who had their wedding booked for the day of...
So they've got a wedding reception, and after complaints from the father of the bride, David Bowie has to go and smooth things over with them. And he has his photo taken with the bride and groom.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
Sings a bit of Modern Love.
Yeah.
Great.
It's a lovely image, isn't it?
I don't think there's anything... You know, I had a lovely wedding day, but I don't think there's anything that could go so badly wrong that it couldn't be smoothed over by David Bowie coming and going, it's all right, guys.
He originally wanted to do a transatlantic duet with Mick Jagger. David Bowie.
Doing Dancing in the Street.
But there's a half-second delay. So what do you think what they thought would be the half-second delay to deal with that? They were going to do a reggae song.
My brain was thinking, does one start the song half a second later than the other?
They thought, we'll just do reggae.
So it's more of a vibes-based thing.
Yeah, it's more of a vibes
Yeah.
thing, but that doesn't work.
No.
Next idea was Bowie wanted one of them to go up in a space shuttle and do a duet with the other who's on Earth.
That was the sort of thing that you two were doing,
Yeah.
years later. He was ahead of his time.
Harvey Goldsmith, who's organising it, calls NASA, asks them if they've got a spare rocket they could send Mick Jagger up in, but doesn't work out.
Mick Jagger could have been the Katy Perry of his day.
Exactly. He could have been, but it didn't happen. And then Bob Geldof was basically the last man at Wembley, more or less, and he had to hitch home.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do the romantic version is that you imagine him sweeping up, just sweeping the stage, the last little bits of confetti or whatever, and just looking around going, well done, Bob. Yeah.
Well done.
Well done, Bob.
That is, though, how you organise the ultimate charity thing.
Yeah.
Which brings us to 2 years later, to the great Royal Knockout. And this was conceived in a wine bar in the West End with a friend from Cambridge of Prince Edward called Tim Hasty Smith.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You can imagine what Tim Hasty Smith is like.
Yeah.
He's a hanger-on. He's always trying to say, hey, look, you've got lots of money, let's do a big thing. I've got this half idea for a project.
So they want to raise money for the Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme, which is its 13th anniversary.
It's not enough.
Not enough. In 1986. The first thought's a fundraising ball. Edward's like, they're not a laugh. So they decide, how about a mini kind of knockout tournament from teams from different award schemes? So Edward approaches Stuart Hall, the presenter of It's a Knockout, in the grounds of Buckingham Palace, and they basically write down the idea, the format on the back of an envelope. It's staged at Alton Towers.
Great.
Obviously the theme park, but it's got a lovely grounds. Edward says the BBC, when he told them, positively drooled at the idea.
Well, on paper, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? The
Royals...
It's two massive brands.
Yeah.
Colliding.
Yes. And then before anyone's really thought about the implications of how this will play out, Edward, who a year ago is making the tea at Cat's, has started his own company called Knockout Limited.
Are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to start your own company with the name of another person's product?
Yeah, I suppose so, because they haven't got a TM on the word knockout, I suppose.
But, you know, like, I know it's not the name of his company, but if I started Spielberg Limited, would there be pushback from that?
No, but I think he's got Knockout. Knockout, remember, has been cancelled as a TV show. They're seeing this as a big opportunity.
Sure, that's right, yeah.
Not everyone thinks this is a good idea. The Queen thought it was a terrible error. But the Queen, who I'd say, whatever you think of the royals, has a pretty good sense of judgment.
Yes.
Her big, and this does come back to haunt her with other children as well, her big Achilles heel is her indulgence of her children.
I guess they're your
Yeah,
kids,
of course
aren't they,
they're your kids.
You've got to love them.
So she kind of just goes along with it for Prince Edward. I'd say this is not as bad as her indulgence later of other members.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Prince Philip thinks it's unwise and unwelcome, and he says, why doesn't Edward let the TV people get on with it and just turn up and accept the checks? He's making us look foolish.
It's a really good point, isn't it? But you get the feeling with Edward.
But Edward is trying to do something.
He wants to do something, doesn't he?
He wants to be useful. He wants to have a career.
He's splashed out of the army.
He's not done well at A-level or Cambridge.
No.
We don't know what he's like making the tea in theatre, but he wasn't good on stage.
Well, you know, a year later he's running his own company, so it must be pretty good tea.
Pretty good, yeah.
That's the thing he's good at. But this is the problem, isn't it? Everyone gets sort of promoted into incompetence.
Yeah.
If he'd started Costa Coffee, we wouldn't be talking about him today.
Exactly. It was for charity as well. We've got to remember it's for charity. It raises £1.5 million.
Doesn't seem like enough.
Doesn't seem like enough.
Doesn't seem like enough.
It does.
Straight away, I'm thinking, if he'd said to the Queen, I tell you what, give me $2 million, I won't do it. And that can go to save the children.
To be honest, you could use that for a tax break.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Do you pay tax? I can't remember.
We're doing each other a favour here. You must have a company that pays some tax, surely.
Yeah. So it raises 1.5 million for 4 different charities. So it's split as well.
If you see the scale, the number of people involved in it, I reckon he could have done one of those.
I know it's before Google, but you've got to know somewhere, work out the net worth of your mum.
Just look around your big house.
Yeah.
Just
sell a painting.
Next time you go and visit your mum, just have a little look around the room you sat in and think...
Save the Children, Shelter, the World Wildlife Fund, and the Duke of Edinburgh's International Project 1987. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what the last one is, but all great
Duke
charities.
of Edinburgh's International Project.
He's going on holiday.
Yeah. He's sending his dad on holiday.
International Project 1987 is a Facebook album.
So he does say at the end, it wasn't disastrous. Can you call something disastrous that raised over £1 million for charity?
How much did it cost?
I know.
How much did it cost?
The overheads must have been huge.
There's no way it's not breaking even, is it?
So in the build-up, he does say, this is in the opening press conferences, the games will be slightly different to the old It's a Knockout. We've deliberately kept a sense of decorum, which to me sounds like, well, what's the fucking point then?
You've removed the one good thing about It's a Knockout.
The one good thing about It's a Knockout is it's got no decorum.
I hope this is one of the episodes they've got some decorum.
That guy who wrote into the Radio Times about how bad we were in Chassons Frontier needs to... He says before filming, I don't think the British monarchy will suffer in the process. I hope it will be viewed as being like a breath of fresh air. Although in the week before he says, I've had my doubts about it. One always does when one is trying to put on any show. Also, the event has the active involvement of members of the royal family in a way that hasn't been done before. And to be fair, we all, before the release of anything we've done creatively, think, fuck, imagine if this is shit and everyone hates it.
You have that wobble, don't you? Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Imagine if this becomes the one thing that defines me as a royal and drags my family through the gutter.
Imagine if this isn't a breath of fresh air. Yeah. It's a stale gust.
So the lineup, they don't get Charles and Diana.
And I think that's a masterstroke on their part.
Charles and Diana?
Yeah. They've dodged an absolute bullet there. Is it right to say, though, that Diana was into it? Or, I mean, or is that lost to history?
I don't know. Fergie, so they get Prince Andrew and Fergie, Princess Anne and Prince Edward. They're the 4 royals that do it. They don't get the Queen and Prince Philip. Just
no, there's still, I mean, you know what? There's still 4 royals.
Yeah.
It's not like they've had to get, 3 royals and then the 4th is, just someone.
Frank Bruno.
Exactly, yeah.
So Fergie does say, when Charles and Diana declined the invitation, I remembered feeling miffed. I thought they were being most unsportsmanlike, not supporting the family as we should. I just think they've made the right decision.
Yeah, but we're thinking that from a historical point of view.
Yeah.
Although, actually, I mean, the Queen and Prince Philip can't take part. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
They're not of an age when you can be sort of jimmying up a rope or dressed as a giant leek or any of that kind of stuff. That's just not.
Yeah.
Decorum aside,
Yeah.
health and safety,
Yeah.
it's too dangerous. Charles and Diana, I feel like
you can't.
In a way, it would become Charles and Diana's show as well.
Yeah,
they were so famous.
So he gets 40 celebrities.
Too many again. You don't need 40 celebrities.
It's so difficult.
You know when you first start watching a reality TV show, like The Traitors, and you're like, I just can't, I don't know who anyone is.
Yeah.
The first episode's hard going, you're pushing through it because I can't get any of the names. Even if you know who they are, 40 names is too many.
And they are insane names. So let me take you through the teams. Quickly, Prince Edward's team, the yellow team, raising money for the Duke of Edinburgh's award. Toya Wilcox, the singer.
Right, yeah.
Barry McGuigan, the boxer.
I know him, yeah.
Christopher Reeve, Superman. Steve Cram, Tessa Sanderson, Sarah Hardcastle, Olympians. John Cleese, Duncan Goodhue, the swimmer. Sharon McPeak, the athlete. Michael Ball, the singer. Nicholas Lyndhurst, Rodney from Only Fools and Horses. And Dame Kiri Katanawa.
So these are huge stars, some of them. There are some
Red Team, Princess
Anne.
Debbie Flintoff, Cliff Richard, Emlyn Hughes, Jimmy Agata, Kevin Kline, the actor, Jackie Stewart, the racing driver, Eddie Grant, the singer.
Do you know what this is?
Bill Wyman.
I'll tell you what this is like. This is like the final wall game in Only Connect.
Yeah.
You're going, Kevin Kline's there, John Cleese is there. They're filming A Fish Called Wanda. That's what's happening this year. You see those two names together, you go, why is Kevin Kline? He's not flown over to do it.
I've not thought, we've got to get Kevin Kline. Peter Blake. So Peter Blake, the actor.
Yes.
We'll come back to him. Walter Payton, Virginia Lang, Sunil Gavaskar, the cricketer, Anthony Andrews, Tom Jones, Sheena Easton. The next team, Judy Simpson, Annika Rice, Fiona Fullerton, Gary Lineker, George Lazenby.
Wow.
Some of them I don't know. Margaret Kidder, Steve Podolsky.
Margaret Kidder, she's Lois Lane. So that's why you've got Superman, you've got Lois Lane.
Oh, there you go.
They must have been filming
Palin,
Superman.
Nigel Mansell, John Travolta, Griff Rhys-Jones.
Great.
Meatloaf.
Meaty.
Pamela Stevenson, Brian Cooper, Mel Smith. It goes on and on. Jane Seymour, Krista Berg, Viv Richards, etc.
So this is, I mean, I guess if all of those people say, I'd like to do it, you go, sure.
Why not?
If John Travolta wants to do it, why
Stuart
not?
Hall, Sue Pollard, Les Dawson hosting. Paul Daniels, the magician, is the timekeeper. On arrival, you're dealing with celebs. From the off, Jane Seymour needs the right dress for dinner. That has to be sent immediately from America. It's flown over.
Okay.
That's eating into your 1.5
That
million
really
straight away.
straight away, yeah. And of course, this is pre kind of like caring about the environment as well.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve and Gary Lineker, they fly in. Gary Lineker's playing for Barcelona at the time. They get fog bound in London.
Well, Christopher Reeve flies in. He's got his cape on. He's got his pants
come on,
on.
mate.
He's just.
Fog's a bit of a problem.
He doesn't have to circle to land, does he?
Peter Blake.
We're not talking about the guy who did the Sgt. Pepper's front cover.
They had meant to book the New Zealand yachtsman Peter Blake, but they'd booked the wrong Peter Blake.
You had a 1 in 3 chance of getting the right Peter Blake.
And they book an actor who's been in a sitcom called Dear John.
I remember Dear John, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He turns
But
up.
no, he's not the main character.
They put the wrong Peter Blake, and he's there with John Travolta and Christopher Reeve.
The good thing is he can hide inside a potato costume and no one knows he's there.
Exactly. He said he was surprised to be included, but still attended, and much to everyone's surprise when he turned up.
Oh, I feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah.
Because you get the royal call up.
Yeah.
Of course, there's going to be a bit of you. It taps into a bit of your personality that goes, maybe he's a fan. Maybe he never misses an episode of Dear John.
Yeah. No. Who are you? Sorry? Why are you here? I'm on the green team. And then, it says that John Travolta and Kevin Kline and Meatloaf, it kind of dawns on them when they arrive. Anthony Andrews says one could see quite clearly that it was slowly dawning on those jet-lagged brains just how silly they were going to look.
Yeah. But it's the royal family.
Yeah, and John Travolta apparently just keeps saying, I love English things, with no real conviction. His examples are Jaguars.
Okay.
And English chocolate, which I don't think is good enough.
At least no Cadbury's.
Yeah.
We know Hershey's. You could at least learn our name.
Exactly. At this point, it could go either way. It could be good, it could be bad. But there's one huge bad omen, which is that it absolutely pisses down. And it's covered in mud. And Edward says, I remember only too well standing at the window that Monday morning as the torrential rain continued unabated from the evening before. It was literally the worst moment of my life.
Oh, Edward.
Mud obviously also has such a bad memory for him. Whenever he comes into contact with mud, his life's going badly.
He has the opposite of a Proustian response.
Yeah.
It's not a reverie. It just,
Well,
poor love. I do actually feel sorry for him because as powerful as you can get, you can't compete with the weather.
You can't compete with
Mother Nature, more powerful than the Queen.
Exactly. Before the next one, I would like you to go away and watch it, and then we will go through what happened, and worse, how the fallout destroyed Prince Edward.
Well, there's not exactly a cliffhanger as to how the show's going to go.
No.
But first time since 1987, I'll watch it again.
It can't go wrong, and we'll find out next time that is bullshit. That's it for part 2. Coming up in part 3, the infamous event takes place in the grounds of Alton Towers as a gang of baffled and reluctant celebrities scramble to save their dignity in the face of disaster. And, quite crucially, Prince Andrew tries to throw Meatloaf in a moat in a jealous rage.